Hi, welcome to 5 Minutes with David. Today I'm going to share with you something that will take you further than your education, your talent, your skills, and even your family background. Can you guess it? Well, it is relationships. Tony Robbins was right when he said the quality of your life is the quality of your relationship. I'm going to prove it with you using my own story and a colleague's crisis at the office. But before we go on, in our last video we talked about the power of encouragement. I hope and I believe you are out there encouraging people daily, because it costs nothing to encourage someone. But we must season our words with grace. As the saying goes, talk is cheap until you hire a lawyer. The backdrop of this lesson is from the Bible. But what prompted me to share this is what happened in my office. David's ascension to the throne was as a result of the bond that he had with Jonathan. I hope and I believe you know the story of David and Jonathan. David was a shepherd, Jonathan was the son of a king. David was anointed to become a king, and later the king Saul was looking to kill David. But then Jonathan helped David because David was a good friend with Jonathan. That is how the story goes. But you can go further into the Bible to read all about David and Jonathan. Now, David became a king eventually, but his kingship was because of the help of Jonathan, as I said earlier on. David became an outcast and he was able to draw people to himself. I think it is because David was able to build meaningful relationships. Now think of it. How does a fugitive able to draw men, loyal men to himself to fight? David never lost a battle because he had mighty men. Now maybe you might think David was a good soldier. Yes, he was a good soldier. You might also say that David was a great leader. Yes, he was a great leader. But aren't all great leaders masters of relationships? Dr. John Maxwell said something. He said, what makes or breaks a leader is your ability to connect with others. Now you might think that you are not a leader, but I beg to differ. We are all leaders of some sort. You are a leader of your life. You are leading your own life. And if you are married, you are a leader in your family, in your home. If you have siblings, you might be a leader amongst your siblings. So, we are all leaders of some sort. And Dr. John Maxwell says that what makes or breaks a leader is your ability to connect with others. Now, let's talk about relationships. I think relationships are the cornerstone of all progress in life. I must be honest with you. I am where I am today because of the connections I made, not just my skills. My boss used to tell me that people just love me. And I always say that I am not that special. People don't just love me. It is because I make time for people. I prioritize connections. I make time to connect with others. I always connect with others when I want to. And all the time, I want to make connections, especially in places that matters most. Relationships will take you further, as I said earlier on, above your grades, your talent, and your skills. Why? Because relationships are the foundation of life, and love is the cement that holds them together. Now let me share this office story with you. My TA once told me that one of our bosses in the office told her that she feels isolated. And the TA went on to say that that boss, always comes to the office and gives orders. She always tells people what to do. That is it. Nothing more. And now that she is overwhelmed with both work and family issues, that she realized she needs people, she needs care, she needs connections. But we shouldn't wait for crisis before we realize this, before we see this. I told my TA what King Solomon said in Proverbs 27 verse 10b. Better a neighbor nearby than a brother that is far away. If you think you don't need people, wake up. If you think you don't need anyone, please do wake up. Because we are not here alone. We are not on earth alone. People are made for people. People are made to connect with people. Now, do you realize, or have you thought about this, how Jesus Christ was able to call 12 men to leave their jobs and follow him? Well, you might think he is divine. Yes, he is divine. But he did the most fundamental thing. He connected first. Dr. John C. Maxwell says it again, that leaders who take time to connect with people before making a request are the ones people will follow willingly. But I will say it like this. I will put it this way. People who take time to connect with others before making a request are the ones people will help willingly. Now think about it. If you have two friends and one always connects with you, talks to you, and knows what is happening in your life, if that person goes into a problem or in a challenge and the person asks you for help, will you give or not? And another brother or another friend who doesn't care, you don't hear from that person for a long while, and then if that person comes and asks you for help, which amongst the two will you willingly help? I trust you will help the first one who always connects with you. Yes. So people who connect with people before making a request are the ones people will help willingly. So take time to connect. Nurture relationships. Because relationships are the foundation of life. It is true that no man is an island. The connections we make determines how far we go in life. They can make our lives fruitful and fulfilling, or they leave us empty and stuck. Now let me share a personal story with you. Back in the days when I was in high school, I loved buying books. Biology books, physics, chemistry, you just name it. I had a whole bunch of books. And I had a friend, Nash. He always come and then borrow books from me to go and study. And I always give it. So after high school, we all just left and I never heard from him again. Then I went to the university. Lo and behold, Nash was there. So back in the days when I was in the university, something happened at school. So we were all evicted from the hall that I was staying in. Back then, I was broke, alone, and homeless. I had no place to go, no place to stay. So I called this friend. When I called him, he said, sure. He just came and then picked me up. He took me to his hall. And I lived with him for 2 semesters. 2 semesters with him. So, after graduation, we all left school. We all went our separate ways looking for jobs. Later, we connected again, and then he told me that he just thanked me. That, hey, thank you for the books that you gave me. He mentioned another friend of ours. Thank you for allowing me to use your books. Then it hit me that if I hadn't given him my books, he wouldn't have accepted me. He wouldn't have taken me in when I needed help. That is why Zig Ziglar was so right. That if you help people get what they want, they will also help you get what you want. That time, my friend needed books. Maybe he wanted books. Yes, he needed the books, but there were other people whom he could have gone to take the books, but he came to me. But in my case, I had only him because all my friends were in the same hall with me, and they had other friends, so they left and stayed with their friends. So if I hadn't helped him then, it would have been a big issue for me. This is my core point. Relationships take sacrifice, effort, generosity, grace, but the benefits are enormous. That is why we need to take time to connect. I always tell my students that be good to your classmates. I tell my siblings, build good relationships. Because after school, you don't know when and where you will need the help of people, when and where you will need their help. I once asked a student that, what do you think? Do you think this classmate of yours is going to be something? I literally said a principal, a headmistress. He said no. I told him, no. You don't have to think like that, because now you think they are not good, but there will be a time that they will become better. So don't write anybody off. Take time to connect. Take time to build good relationships, because they pay. The dividends are enormous. The dividends are great. Let us take time to build connections with each other. Relationships need intentional sowing, consistent care, and gentle tending. Nurturing a relationship is planting seeds of kindness, trust, and understanding. They are often the small things in life that goes unnoticed, but grow into something life-changing. It is testing a friend to ask how they are doing. It is giving a listening ear when someone is venting about their frustrating day. It is the humility to apologize when you are at fault. And yes, relationships are hard, but just like gardens, which faces pests and storms, relationships faces conflicts, misunderstandings, and distance. But nurturing means choosing repair over retreat, listening over lashing out, and adapting over giving up. The most meaningful parts of life aren't the things we achieve alone. They are the bonds we make, the love we nurture, and the growth we share with others. At the end of the day, relationships are not who we are with, but they are who we become and who we grow with. Now, if this resonated with you, I want you to share and hit the like button, subscribe, and tell a friend to watch. I will see you in my next video. Thank you.